Good evening, brothers and sisters. So glad to be back with you again today. Uh, this is a spoken word series, and we are working on part two. We have again with you the great poet Malik Canty, Mama Moshe, myself, and it's an open mic. I'm hoping that Brother Tooth and Rob will be with us. If you want to join us, if you have some words of encouragement, some words that will help our people raise their consciousness, that will bless our people, that will highlight our ancestors, as long as it's not degrading to our women and any way to our people, you're certainly welcome. So we're not doing a whole lot of cursing and stuff like that. But if you have a positive message that you want to bring to our, just just send us, a type, and we'll have you on. I want to do just a slight bit of libation, um, because there's so many of our brothers and sisters that were on the front line that I've been blessed to be with during this last 50 years of the struggle. And so I want to ask the ancestors to be with us, to bless us, people like Shay, Dr. Ben, uh, A- uh, um, Asa Hilliard. I mean, it's just thousands of brothers and sisters who was on the front line and went to jail, was killed. They're political prisoners. So we pour libation to them, and we honor their spirits because we know their spirit is still with us. So we are just pleased to do the spoken word in their honor. It is so when I think of the hundreds of thousands, when I think of the black soldiers in the Civil War, especially those who had to cross 3 Mile Creek when Richmond was captured. They captured Richmond, Virginia. Robert E. Lee was in Richmond, Virginia, and they broke through the line. Um, and Robert E. Lee ran from Richmond. He took the troops that was there that could no longer execute the war against the Union and tried to meet up with his army coming out of Tennessee. But he was captured by these same black troops who broke through the line near Richmond, Virginia, the headquarters of the Confederacy, and ran him out of there. And they recaptured him at Appomattox and held him for General Grant to come down and well, Grant didn't arrest him. Grant really should have hung him for treason, and we wouldn't be having the trouble we having today. But Grant didn't. So here's to all of those ancestors who died in that Newmarket Heights battle. It was 5,000 black troops who went up that hill and captured Richmond, Virginia. So we give libation to them tonight, uh, and their spirit and their courage, and we call upon that courage to be with us as we move forward. The war is not over; we're still battling. So the spoken word is tonight. We give honor to those great black men who gave their lives in the capture of Richmond, Virginia. They saved the Union and they liberated themselves. They liberated us in doing so. So, there's a book called Newmarket Heights, The Battle of Newmarket Heights, if you want to read on it, by Jimmy Pierce. He wrote a book on that, documented very well. So we're going to get started with our spoken word tonight. We're going to start with Brother Canty. Brother Canty, we're going to ask you to open us up tonight with the spoken word. I can't hear you. Cut your mic on. Cut your mic on.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Greetings, family. My name is Malik Kenji, and this is a tribute. This tribute is for my ancestors who are unknown because they were omitted from the history books. Unknown because they were snatched from the womb and cradle before they could grow. Unknown because their rebellious spirit caused them an early demise on this planet by those who could not break or subdue their fighting spirit. Unknown because they were thrown overboard or jumped overboard during the horrors of the Middle Passage. This is for my ancestors who worked the plantations from sunup to sundown with disgust and mistrust of anyone who tried to justify their enslavement. No amendment can ever make up for some of the atrocities done to my people on those ships and those dungeons and plantations. This is for the unsung voices that are buried in the murky waters of Mississippi, in the backwood of Alabama, on the bottom of the ocean floor. Time has not let their spirits rest. This tribute is for my ancestors. Join me in paying homage to them whose spirits are still living in the shadow, riding on the wind, restless because they will always be unknown. This tribute was written in anger, in tears. It is a reminder for those of us who are here today and have no knowledge of yesterday. The spirit of our unknown live in all of us. You honor them when you take time to acknowledge them. You honor them when the lost bones are found in the hidden grounds and are given a proper burial. Join me in the realm of your heart so that they can be free and included in history. This tribute was for my ancestors.
Thank you, Brother Malik. Absolutely wonderful. Marvelous.
I sing. I sing.
Yeah. Mama Moshe.
Can we talk a little bit to Word Bird about
Yeah.
what led to him, what led his heart to actually pick that piece today and give a little history behind it?
Oh, sure, sure. That piece was inspired from when I used to teach in the high schools. And I heard some students say, Mr. C, why are you always talking about Black history? And I said, well, but there is no history without Black history. And so I decided to write this piece to honor those unknown soldiers, unknown voices, unknown burials that we can never know were known. And
Yeah,
that was my hope, because I needed to speak for them who we didn't have no knowledge of and will never
right.
have a knowledge of. But they
Which one of the ancestors mostly inspired you to be who you are today?
Shaka,
Shaka Zulu?
Shaka, Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
I have a warrior spirit, and I know that they walk with me and they talk with me and they guide me.
Yes.
You know, this is what
How
I.
do you? Oh, go ahead.
No, I believe, like I always tell folks, I'm spirit led and they must be fed. I'm just the
Yes.
voice of many.
Yes.
I I just like to add an ancestor, Muhammad Ali, because they had a series on him over the past week or so. It was a three-part series, and I thought it was a good series because it covered an era when black men, really 75% of all the heavyweight champions were black men, and the image of black men at that time were that they were really the greatest fighters on the planet. I mean, all you got to do is name them, and they rise to the top. And that was the image of black men, pretty much around the world. That they were just the image of manhood. They were great men who were champions, and I I benefited just in traveling around the world myself during that period. Wherever I went, whether it was Mexico or Africa or wherever, I was treated with dignity because of Malcolm and Dr. King and people like Muhammad Ali. All of that that they had brought to the forefront in standing up and presenting the image of black men as champions. I benefit from that on a personal basis. So I want to just add Brother Muhammad Ali, who was indeed the greatest. Uh,
Indeed.
and we do honor him tonight. To
Indeed.
say nothing of Malcolm X. I mean, I remember being in Mexico, and my money wasn't no good. I mean, everywhere I went, and I would read poetry. I'm going to read a poem called Harlem, which was written back at that time in the 70s. Um, but I'm going to do that later. But uh, I was in Mexico for 3 months in Saltillo, Mexico, and I was treated with such respect and honor because of great men like Malcolm and Dr. King and Muhammad Ali, even Joe Frazier, all of them. We were champions. The image that they are trying to pin on black men today is that they are homosexuals, but that's not our history. I mean, if you want to be a homosexual, you have that right, I guess. But what I'm saying is that that is not the image or uh, of the being of the black man. He was a man.
Yes, sir.
He was a strong man, and he loved his woman. Matter of fact, I might read a poem that I did to my wife for her tonight as well. But I'm just trying to say that that image that they're trying to put out there of the black man being homosexual, and that's not us.
That's right.
It's not our history,
Yes,
and
sir.
that's not our being today. And
Yes, sir.
when you stand up against it, they want to take you down
Yes,
because
sir.
you know uh, the rights that homosexuals have. They have those rights because of the rights that black men and women uh, fought to get for ourselves, and others are on that bandwagon. But we're the people who open that door. I just want to say that. Uh, Mama Linus, Mama Moshe.
Yes, well, to contribute to who inspired me from the masculine energy, it just actually was Shaka Zulu, because he distributes and his attributes of a masculine energy, no nonsense, a man of valor, warrior spirit, and he had like a warrior side and he had a gentle side that he actually um, allowed that to be to his mother. Um, and the way he respected her and loved her and went all out for her was very inspirational. Considering, I wasn't raised by my mother, but I always, when I saw that Shaka Zulu movie when I was young, I always desired to have that type of masculine energy to be in my life to protect. I had a daddy and I had a twin brother, but every child, when she gets to a certain age and she start looking at men, I would always look for that type of quality in a man. And then as far as a queen is concerned, a warrior spirit. My greatest spirit guide is actually Queen Armaneus. She's the one who went up against Rome, one of the seed of the serpents today, and that she's very inspirational to let us know what one woman can do with great support from her community, our family, our nation, just like Queen Nandi in Ashantawa. There's so many of them, but they're very inspirational in knowing that their DNA still runs in us. That spirit of the ability to be nurturers, counselors, and healers also let us recognize that as a feminine energy, we also have the ability to be protectors and providers. So, yeah, Queen Amana's with one eye.
Mm.
She actually had went up against Rome and won, but then again, eventually they had caught up with her, and even here now today, they're from what I understand, they are trying to figure out where her body actually is. But as far as a historical um, um, whether it's a fable. Some people, just don't believe that, some of our her story is even relevant or significant nowadays. But in all actuality, it is the root, the tree, the branch, and the fruit that is going to be bearing much fruit this season and contribute a great deal in order for us to uproot injustice and to overthrow the hypocrisy and to cast out the religious dogmas and to get rid of the oppressors because the masculine energy and the feminine energy among us is a target. It's not one versus the other, it's both of us. But more so even the woman because she's the one who's capable of birthing what they fear, whether you call it a Messiah, a Savior, an anointed one. We are the first fruit and the cornerstones that the builders rejected. But nevertheless, I give thanks for the ancestors to leave a legacy that we can
Mm.
continue in this certain time of and rooted in integrity and that we focus on those things. Now, today, instead of me reading a message, I'm going to actually submit one of the tracks that the Spirit Guide allowed me to create in 2017, but I probably didn't post it until maybe 2019. But the title of it is What is for Me is for We. And it's amazing considering I never wrote a poetry, and I'm not a songbird or anything of that nature. But I give
Mm.
thanks to the young man who followed my lead to produce some music background to somewhat make my words sound um, well, we'll just take it from here. So, Baba, that one that you have pulled up, you can pull it up now. Lock me out. I mean, take me out and let it play. And I appreciate if we mute our mics and you can turn it up so everyone can hear it.
What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy. Without the validation of a colonized nation who is in need of a purification. What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy. I am old enough to know what I want and still young enough to get it, proven time after time among history of feminine concealment. What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy. I need not to twerk or flirt when I wear a crown with birthright perks. Like the ancient of time, clockwork, I am future artwork. What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy. I need not to lie, steal or kill to get a meal, because I have woman's wisdom skills. No need for addiction to pills or social and moral frills. What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy. I need not to be born twice when Mother Divine made me in the beginning precise. Which religion nor gender confusion is a natural and spiritual woman's diffusion. What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy. I need not to wish for anything when the divine provides me freely everything. Earth, wind, fire, and water will rule among the final judgment hour. A mother's nature devouring power over heart's attempt to claim fame will be the same. What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy. I need not to defile my lips with words of filth. When my lips speaks, words giving and sustaining life as a lasting kiss, desired twice. What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy. I need no degrees or PhDs from the false education of my enemies, when I know I am fearfully and wonderfully made in a divine epitome goddess way. The strategic wisdom is stored in the woman's head. She will slay that legacy of the adversary from the ancient of days. What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy. I need not to tolerate the attitude of boys in a man's body when I am a king's hobby. What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy. I need no so-called friends to pretend when I got the divine to carry me and see me through thick and thin. What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy. I need not to limit my friends based on the color of their skin, when the true relationship is with the soul and spirit within. What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy. I need not to conform to the wisdom of this world, when the divine has gifted me with divine knowledge, understanding, and wisdom more valuable than gold, diamonds, and pearls. What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy. I do know where I will stand during the enemy's corruption plans. I will be hidden in our everlasting parents' protective mighty hands. What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy. I need not a military power or cavalry might to fight my battles, when the divine before me, who in the right mind will be against me? In the hour of the divine spirit's army. What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy. I need not to be sexually flexed with the same sex, when the divine laws of gender will expose the pretenders. For the divine creatress gave us the perfect match of the opposite sex that naturally accommodates and procreates. The divine remnant elect. What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy. Therefore, I need not to ponder over religious heaven or hell, when I've come to the conclusion my divine birthright spirituality serves me well. No matter the end of the trail, I will prevail with this breath of the veil. What is for me is for we, a divine destiny and a purified legacy is for we.
Shay. 3 snaps up. That's tight.
Oh,
That's tight.
yes, I give thanks. I don't know what it sounds like on you all's end, but it was definitely choppy. I don't understand. Was it choppy when you all were hearing it?
Yes, it was choppy.
Yeah. That that shouldn't have been, because that's not how it plays on any other of my my outlets. But maybe I'll just upload it by itself so people can hear it without the interference. Maybe because we got our, we're on here. But nevertheless, that was one of the messages that the spirit wrote through me, and I stand firm on all of that. It was beautiful to receive it. It's beautiful to live it, and it's more beautiful to inspire to achieve it all. So, with that, I'm
I
complete.
say, I say.
Well, uh, I thank you for that. I listened very carefully and I loved it. I want to do a piece that I wrote in 1970. And I was a student up at City College and I drove a cab at night. I had my own gypsy cab, they called them back in those days. And so there was hardly a bar or anything, uh, place, where you ate, drank, or whatever else in Harlem that I did not frequent because, I picked people up all over Harlem and took them where they wanted to go. Uh, but during the day, I used to come out and sit in the park at City College, the back of City College. There's a park that overlooks Harlem. And because I knew Harlem very well, I wrote this poem, Sitting on the Hill Overlooking Harlem. Harlem, how proud you look from these hills so far. But Harlem, how deceitful you really are. You stand like marble structures carved in clear blue skies, as if knights and kings were living there. But Harlem, I know, for I live in your body, and I know the hell you hide and perpetuate there. The hell that tortures a man for having woolly hair. The hell that is your hell of everyday miscarriages, stillborn child, hard life, and early death. The hell of denying a people to be a people, the right to be a people, cutting off their productive hand. Harlem, how proud you look from these hills so far. But Harlem, I know your smell, the smell that stinks your air, the smell that is your smell of stagnant life suffocating from dreams locked in a barless jail. Oh, Harlem, how proud you look from these hills so far, but Harlem, how deceitful you really are. I hear your sounds, sounds of armed knights stabbing the woman of the 122nd Street and 8th Avenue, pushing her frightened eyes down bumping steps to take her purse. Young girls streaming through streets of torn clothes and sounds only dope addicts make for skin punctured quiet where dopes keeps heads nodding, backs bending through Harlem walls, leaning on fix, leaning on a fix, and sounds of uneducated schools teaching unworking and underpaid bitching, searching for a full table, dream, rent to pay, pretty clothes, and all the family needs. Oh, Harlem. They look for the good, good life. But Harlem, I heard the sounds of a million people in 3 square miles of sounds, sound and pangs of economic racism, drinking their blood like a giant leech, beating, kicking, trying to keep their minds and bodies weak. And I hear sounds of tears, crying hate, hate enough to destroy this land. Harlem, how proud you look from these hills so far. But Harlem, oh Harlem, how goddamn deceitful you really are. Um,
I
that
say,
I
I
thank
say,
that was
I
1970,
say
I say.
and
that was
I love Holly. Uh,
Yes.
Malik, do you have another poem for us tonight?
Sure. Let me do some for our sisters to remind them because Mama Linus was right about sisters and the power that they carry and the power that they bring to our table. So this piece is called Ebony Flowers. My ebony flowers, so tender, so shy, and so willing to hide the natural beauty you have inside. The garden of life has many flowers. Out of all the rest, you always show attributes of being one of the best. My ebony flowers, please don't stifle your glow or let others stop you from trying to grow. Full lips, rich, thick hair, black skin, brown skin, fair skin. Everything about you can make men drool and act like fools just to get your attention. Continue to light up a room when you enter. Continue to be the model of beauty and strength, elegance and class that others secretly and openly envy and try to emulate. My ebony flowers, you have glowing powers that is both captivating and alluring. When you make up your mind to shine, smiling eyes and faces follow your every step. Your DNA, divine natural aura, is second to none. Mother of civilization, goddess, and the first queen are titles that originated from you, black woman. My ebony flowers, your beauty is rich like the Nile. You never have to emulate someone else's style. Your color is like no others. Your touch can make an angel blush. My ebony flowers, no matter your shape, height, weight, you are the model to follow. When all is said and done, your glow is the only one that can compete with the sun. My ebony flowers.
Whoa. I
I say, I
see,
say, oh.
Thank you, Malik.
You're welcome, my brother.
That's nice. That's nice. I mean, because in all actuality, we have to hear the upliftment and encouragement from our masculine energy to the feminine energy, and the feminine needs to also express the same to the masculine energy. That's the only way we can truly have a divine conscious unity. But when we leave one another out, just like the oppressors wanted us to stay divided and not acknowledge one another more so than to disrespect each other. It is. You can't have unity without the respect and the integrity that we can see in each other. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Um, do you have another poem you want to do, Sister Mache?
Well, I can try. Well, at least I know this time it won't get skipped because I'm gonna actually recite it. So this one too is in alignment with the mothers and the children. This is something I had listened to um, Whitney Houston when she was singing the song about the children of the world. My spirit guides also allow me to listen to music, and then as I'm listening, I'm hearing something entirely different. And because I'm hearing something different, I write what it is that I actually hear. So I want to first acknowledge Whitney Houston and her beautiful voice and lyrics, and how she recognized the wealth of the women and the children, even more so the children of the world is our future. So it does make a big difference of the seeds we plant today versus how it's going to contribute to the tree and the fruit that is going to be bearing in the future. So this is a piece that I wrote in reference to after hearing the children. The children. I forgot the actual title, but nevertheless, this is how minds go. Um, I have confidence in our women and children, are our future leaders among men contenders. who have the proven they are justice pretenders and warmongering, backward thinking avengers. Now, I am not a feminist, I am a realist, proclaiming facts from the heart and mind of a divine feminine catalyst, not to be compared to an interest group appointed nor labeled by women who want to be equal to men, nor haters of men for the purpose of, of exalting their own lesbianism, schisms, and isms. We must reach and teach them their essence and significance in the midst of self appointed men's worlds of dominance and racist prejudice, to redirect away from the original cosmic mother's divine mandate of her reflection image of woman's throne of wisdom eminence. It's time to let woman's nurturing emotions and children's devotions lead and teach the way of integrity, mindfulness, and justice of the heart, to put an end to diabolical king consort darts. After a dose of reality of our ancestors' plantation blast of the past re-emerging fast, we must show and tell them all the beauty they possess inside their DNA lives, that the slave masters tried to hide until the slave died or buried alive full of lies. We must give them a consistent and effective feminine and masculine pride, to make it easier to perceive and achieve their ancestors' legacy of nobility. A grandeur future without psychopathic invaders from life cycle narrators worthy of the incinerator. We must give adults and children a heart and mind of laughter in the midst of grand reapers as masters plans of depopulation disasters. It's time to learn from the past in order to put our left foot forward as we arise to unite and conquer, not by cavalry might, not by military power, but as a mindful return of common sense and solutions of divine substance. Utilizing the past confirmations of victory over our enemies in limbo of truancy from integrity responsibility. Remind us to rewind the time of individual sovereignty, living in a state of tranquility. Revitalize us how to love without immoral activated desires, causing a downward spiral effect, eliminating the elevations of soldiers of justice and love, conquering evil's best, put to a final rest how we used to be. Everybody is searching for a hero, but the seat is filled with zeros. People need someone to look up to, who words and actions rooted in become truth. We never found anyone who fulfilled our needs, as our ancestors' own needs begged and pleaded. A lonely and long road to travel in the midst of DNA rivals. And so I learned to depend on the divine inner me, protected by the cosmic mother's energy, to be the one I'm looking for. This thought now becoming a checkmate score to unlock the redemption, reparation, and restoration door. So I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadows. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I live as I believe. I'm
Wow.
speaking to the bruised and broken woman who feels like she's falling apart. I'm speaking to the fearful and abused to restore her divine heart. I'm speaking to ensure and the insecure and those who are seen as obscure. Our parents may have not been legitimate in exercising your divine existence, but you have inherited a life has not yet been seen, but is within now to be revealed, and no longer kept secret to be hidden. So lift up your head, my daughters. You are crowned, daughter. No matter how low you may go, there's still a highness within you. So lift up your head and acknowledge that you are the head and not the tail. You are the lender and not the borrower. You are above and not beneath. Yes, you are all that we seek, but you are the nurturer and you are a provider. You are a divine counselor and you are a divine comforter. And with you, we can heal and we will prevail. And with that, I'm complete.
Ashe. Ashe.
Ashe, ashe, ashe.
Ashe.
Beautiful,
Wow.
beautiful. Uh,
Oh.
Brother Canty, you had something you want to say?
Yeah, that you have the proper name, lioness. I hear your roar, especially when your words soar.
Oh, believe me, I'm holding back because I'm in somebody's house right now.
Anyway, I have a another piece that I'd like to read that I used to be a Play Street director for PAL, which was the police athletic lead, when I was a young man. And I was Play Street director on 114th Street. And the pushers used to come every day about maybe 11, somewhere around 11. And the police was very well. They used to come and sell their drugs, right? But they made their drop on 114th Street. And that street was full of young kids. Uh, and it was my responsibility to provide care for those young kids and to, you know, keep them out of trouble, so they say, but to organize them and so forth. So I wrote this poem about those kids. Mr. Brown, what we gonna play today? Always that sound is clearest, plain to hear, banging restless feet like seconds in a clock. 200 children on my Play Street block with Mr. Brown. What we gonna play today? One little boy keeps asking the others all around, but he is waiting every day. And sometimes I wouldn't see him, just feel his hug around my leg, his happiness laugh when he knew that I knew it was he who was there. Other times he'd come, pull my hand, and if I turned away, he'd pull again with Mr. Brown. What we going to play today? Play? What do you want to play? I nudged him, chuckling inside his chuckle, wondering what game would please him most. He never rode a tree like I did, swim in a river, or play in a lake. His lake is a fire hydrant, floating broken bottles and glass and cans. What can I tell this boy about what to play? His eyes look straight into me, not like a grown-up's look, afraid to look. His eyes are all youngness. They see clearly. He talks through his eyes, and I'm learning to talk that way too. Mr. Brown, what we going to play today? What can I tell this boy what to play? You see his whole world when you look into his eyes. Now I become his world, which I must bring to him to hear his happiness laugh, that he wants to play. The street lights umbrella out, the stars. He doesn't see Night pulled away under shades, making his room dark and his world bleak. He never built the bird box, for no birds land on his windowsill. I'll never forget that young man. And there were so
Wow.
many others who
Wow.
who depended on us in the midst of this drug infested 114th Street. Um, I got some of the parents to let me come up and and film out of their windows how the police would be right on the corner and how the drug dealers would be selling drugs right down. And I really risked my life doing all that. And I took that film to the police because I worked for the
Mm.
police athletic league, thinking that something would happen, but nothing happened. Uh, I'm not even so sure that they kind of pointed me out because it was some dangerous times. You know, well, you know the story. Um,
Wow.
Malik,
Yes,
uh,
sir.
we have time enough for one more poetry, and I love your poetry. Can you close us out? Oh, let
Sure.
me say before you do your poem, please, brothers and sisters, go and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, so we can keep you informed on what we are doing. Um, we got so many things in the pipeline that we want to bring to you. Very important things, but stay with us. Uh, Malik,
I'm going to leave us with a piece called Never
by the
Heal.
way, Malik,
Yes, sir.
your book, how people can get in contact with your book, how they can get in contact with you
Oh,
if
okay.
they want to get you to come read and everything. And remember, we need this. We need this togetherness as a people, and we need to appreciate one another. So, Malik, Sister Moshe, I definitely appreciate you. Brother Tutin Ra, I appreciate you as well. I don't know what happened. He was supposed to be with us, but Brother Malik, take us home.
Never healed. Emancipation and proclamations did not truly free black people. The wounds have never healed. The recurring nightmare and residue of slavery now haunts our children, haunts them in ways that manifest itself in their frustration and anger, haunts them where many of them don't care to hear about history, don't care to hear about loving themselves above all else. The wounds have never healed. Slave mentality still a reality for many of the descendants of Africa. Scattered seeds, the great African tree continues to bleed for her lost children who have been taught and conditioned to forget her. Our fears have not disappeared. The Ma'afa stories must continue to be told for generations to come. The stories of colonization, enslavement, castration of black men, Jim Crow and his legion, rape of our women, displacement of the black families, Willie Lynch and the White House pimps must be told. Our wounds have not healed. We must face the present with energy, vigor, and teach our children to stop calling themselves niggers. Teach the children so that generation after generation rediscover that the strength of black people is like no other. The strength of black people will always surface during our darkest hour. Scattered seeds of antiquity, survivors of a black holocaust. Your indomitable spirit could never be broken. Our wounds have not healed. Our tears have not stopped. Justice has not come to folks who really need it. Racism is still running amok and setting up shop in the big White House. Lost children of the great African tree. As long as you remain apart from each other, disrespect each other, not see the Imago Day in each other. Our wounds will never heal. Our children will continue the cycle of low production and self-destruction. Put aside the false pride. Stop believing in the keepers of the lie and rise, rise, rise.
Thank you, Brother Malik.
I say,
Absolutely wonderful. Um, we're going to ask you to join us again next week. Um, no, we're doing a spoken word every other week. So join us next week. But, you know, subscribe because we got something going on almost every day. Important people we're bringing. John Transatlantic Productions, Tapvideo. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so that we can keep you informed. I want to thank you for being with us. Good day, good night.
good night.